Hi, I'm Maria, your loyal insider here in the Philippines. Let's stop pretending and talk about the elephant in the room that's currently draining your bank account and your sanity. If you're 65 years old and you're prowling the malls of Cebu chasing a 21-year-old girl, you aren't living a romance. You're participating in a high stakes business transaction where you are the only one who doesn't know the actual price. You think you found young love, but to the local boys watching from the sidelines, you are nothing more than a walking, talking retirement fund for a girl who hasn't even finished her first real heartbreak yet. You're being made a fool of, and deep down, in those quiet moments when the sauce has cooled down, you feel the sharp sting of it. You're trading your hard-earned life savings for a smile that's already looking over your shoulder for the next best thing. Today, I'm going to strip away the fantasy and show you why the mature Filipina, the woman between 35 and 50, is the only choice that secures your heart, protects your pension, and restores your dignity. If you want a woman who sees a man instead of a jackpot, stay right where you are. I'm about to give you the map to the peace and respect you actually deserve. Your retirement depends on every word I say. I know exactly what you were thinking when you boarded that flight to Manila or Cebu. You had this beautiful image in your head, didn't you? A tropical paradise where a stunning young girl would look at you with stars in her eyes, seeing the hero that your ex-wife or your society back home forgot you were. You wanted a fresh start, a chance to feel alive again. But let's pull back the curtain on that stage play. Most of what you see on social media, those happily ever after vlogs, are carefully curated commercials for a product that simply doesn't exist for the average man. In reality, the dating apps are often just fishing nets cast by entire families, and that 20-year-old girl is the designated bait. While you're dreaming of a sunset walk on the beach, she is likely in a group chat with her cousins, calculating how many months of rent your first financial gift will cover. It is a cold, calculated business disguised as a fairy tale, and you are the only one not reading the script. But listen to me closely and hear this in your soul. It is not your fault that you fell for the dream. You are a man of honor. You come from a generation where words had weight and a smile was a promise, not a sophisticated sales tactic. You've spent decades working, building, and sacrificing, only to find yourself in a modern Western culture that treats aging like a disease and your experience as a liability. You aren't a predator for wanting companionship. You are a human being who deserves to be valued. You've been invisible for too long in your own country, and when you finally felt seen here, you didn't realize you were looking through a filtered lens. I see your frustration. I see the fatigue in your eyes from years of trying to find something real in a sea of plastic games. You aren't being foolish, you're being targeted. But the games end today. I'm not just here to break the fantasy. I'm here to give you something better, something real. You've had your fun with the illusions. Now, let's secure your legacy. To help you truly grasp the landscape you're navigating, let's use a comparison every man of your stature understands: the difference between a high-end rental and an owner's residence. Think of that 20-year-old girl like a flashy, neon red sports car you rent for a weekend in Vegas. It looks incredible in the driveway. Your friends back home will certainly be jealous when they see the photos on Facebook. But let's be honest, it's a high-maintenance nightmare. You're paying for every single mile. You're constantly checking for scratches, worried that the slightest mistake will cost you a fortune. And most importantly, the lease is always ticking down. Eventually, that car is going back to the lot, or a younger driver with a bigger wallet is going to outbid you. It's built for speed and show, not for the long haul. Now, look at the mature Filipina, the woman in her late 30s or 40s. She is the owner's residence. She isn't a temporary thrill. She is the foundation. She's like a solid, well-built home on a hill that has already weathered the fiercest typhoons and come out standing. She isn't interested in the neon lights of the city or being the center of attention at a club. She wants to make sure the roof is sealed, the kitchen is warm, and the doors are locked tight against the world. In our culture, survival is a marathon, not a sprint. While the young rental is looking for the next upgrade, the mature owner is looking for the man who will help her protect the sanctuary they build together. One is an expense, the other is an investment in your peace of mind. Let's look at exactly why the rental will break your bank, while the owner will save your life. Let's get surgical. If you want to survive the Philippines with your soul and your savings intact, you need to understand the 7 rules of the hidden game. Most men ignore these until they're sitting in a lonely apartment in Dumaguete, wondering where their life went. Don't be that guy. First, let's talk about the family tax. In our culture, a 20-year-old girl is rarely just a girl. She is the designated survivor for her entire bloodline. When you look at her, you see a delicate orchid, but her parents see a winning lottery ticket that just walked into the mall. She is under massive psychological pressure to provide for siblings, cousins, and that uncle who needs a new boat. If you date her, you aren't her boyfriend. You are the newly appointed CFO of a 15-person corporation that is permanently in the red. You'll know it's happening when her phone starts ringing during your intimate salsa sessions. It's never a wrong number. It's a bill. To win this, you must realize that a mature woman, someone in her late 30s, has usually already paid her dues or established her own boundaries. If a young girl asks for help with a cousin's tuition 3 weeks after you've sampled her local spice, you don't negotiate. You close the bank and walk. Second is what I call the legacy pressure. Let's be blunt. Young Filipinas are biologically wired to plant a new harvest. It is their default setting. You might think you're just tasting the mango and enjoying your retirement, but she is looking for a co-parent. She wants the lolo to become a papa. Do you really want to be 80 years old, leaning on a cane at a middle school graduation, wondering if you'll live to see the child reach high school? That isn't a retirement. It's a life sentence. A woman over 40 is usually looking for a partner to travel with, a man to share the sunset dance with, not someone to change diapers with. She values your companionship more than your DNA. Third, we have social harmony versus the grandpa stigma. In the West, you might think having a girl 40 years younger makes you an alpha. Here, when you walk through SM Seaside with a 21-year-old, the locals aren't admiring you. They are practicing hiya, a deep sense of shame. They see a lolo who is being milked by a girl who should be his granddaughter. It ruins your status. However, when you walk with a stunning 45-year-old woman who carries herself with grace, you are viewed as a man of substance and respect. You aren't a victim, you're a partner. Speaking of substance, I've put together a completely free insider's map for men who are tired of the tourist traps. It's a private list where I break down exactly where the golden age women spend their time and how to approach them without looking like a walking ATM. The link is right below this video. Join us if you're ready to stop playing amateur hour and start building a real life. Now, back to the drama. Rule number 4, the karaoke mindset versus sunset silence. Young girls in this country live for the noise. They want TikTok, they want loud music, and they express frustration through tempo, that toxic, silent pouting that can last for days over a minor disagreement. You don't have enough years left on your clock to spend 3 days decoding why a girl is upset because you didn't buy her a matching outfit. A mature woman values peace. She has outgrown the drama. She knows how to speak her mind, and she understands that a quiet evening, polishing the silver, is worth more than a night in a loud club. 5th is asset protection. Poverty makes young people incredibly short-sighted. If you give a 20-year-old $100, she'll buy a new iPhone or gold chains for her brothers, while the family is eating white rice. She doesn't understand your pension is a finite resource. A mature woman, however, knows the value of a peso. She has seen the typhoons. She will help you guard your wealth because she knows your financial security is her future security too. She becomes your teammate in watering the garden instead of a pest eating the crops. 6th is the X factor and the loyalty pivot. Most young girls are still online, constantly checking if there's a younger, richer, or more exciting version of you around the corner. They are still in the player phase. A woman in her late 30s has already been burned by the local boys with the six-packs and the empty promises. She is tired of the games. She chooses you because of your stability and your heart, not because you're a temporary fix. When she locks the back door, it stays locked. Finally, we have traditional sanctuary. The younger generation is becoming westernized, obsessed with their reflection in a phone screen. They don't know the service of love. An older Filipina still holds the values of our grandmothers. She makes sure your coffee is hot, your home is a sanctuary, and your needs are met with a skill and devotion a 20-year-old can't even comprehend. She isn't performing for TikTok. She is performing for you. Choosing the older woman isn't settling, gentlemen. It's the ultimate power move. You are choosing a queen who can actually talk to you, rather than a child who just wants to ride the ride until the tickets run out. Secure your peace. Stop being the Lolo and start being the man. But now, I need to tell you the most uncomfortable truth of all. The one that will keep you awake tonight if you're honest with yourself. Most men come here terrified that a young girl will take their money and run. They think the disappearing act is the ultimate betrayal. But it's not. The real danger, the one that will actually hollow out your soul, is if she stays. Imagine living in a tropical paradise where the woman by your side is only there because of a signed contract of duty. She isn't staying for your stories, your wisdom, or your heart. She's staying because she's a good girl who promised her mother she'd finish the job of securing the family's future. You end up in a gilded cage of your own making, where the intimate salsa is just another chore she performs with her eyes closed, and her soul is miles away, dreaming of a life she can only truly begin once you are gone. You aren't being a hero by saving a child. You're being a customer in a store that doesn't even sell the product you're looking for. This is the mirror moment, gentlemen. Your ego is the ultimate scammer here. It whispers that you've still got it because a 20-year-old smiles at you, But that smile is a professional mask. Choosing a mature woman isn't settling for second best. It is the ultimate alpha move because it proves you have the strength to want a real partner, not a paid audience. A mature woman chooses you because she's already seen the local players and decided your stability is the real prize. She isn't waiting for your inheritance, she's waiting for your company. Don't trade a lifetime of peace for a few years of high-priced theater. Be man enough to want a queen who sees you, not a miracle. I know I've been sharp with you today. I've exposed the shadows and pulled back the curtain on the games that break most men. You might be feeling a bit exhausted, or even wondering if finding a genuine heart is even possible anymore. But listen to me carefully. Wipe that doubt away right now. The Philippines is still the greatest place on earth for a man of honor to find his soulmate. For every family corporation out there, there are thousands of magnificent, loyal, and incredibly affectionate women who are praying for a man exactly like you. Your 60 years? That isn't a decline, it's your prime. Your experience, your stability, and your wisdom make you a giant among the immature boys who only know how to take. You aren't past your best, you are the gold standard. These women aren't looking for a six-pack and empty promises. They are looking for the steady hands and the noble heart that only a man of your caliber possesses. You are a king, and you deserve a queen who sees your worth, not your wallet. Now that you know where the traps are, you can walk through this paradise with your head held high. You aren't just surviving the game anymore. You are mastering it. The peace you've worked 40 years for is closer than you think. And believe me, it's going to be beautiful. I've laid the cards on the table, gentlemen, not to discourage you, but to ensure your second act is a masterpiece of peace, rather than a tragedy of errors. You've spent a lifetime building a legacy. Now, protect it with a woman who actually understands its value. So, answer me this. In those quiet hours, are you truly looking for a young fan who applauds your bank account? Or a partner who respects the man you've become? Drop your thoughts below. I read every one. My mission is to make sure good men find real companionship, not just expensive theater. If I saved you from a family tax today, maybe consider a small tip for a bucket of Jollibee chicken or a cold San Miguel. It keeps me fueled for our next talk. Good luck, and remember, keep your heart open but your eyes wider. Salamat.